I'm going to be spiritual for a second. I don't get spiritual very often, but I'm going to. There was a homeless guy named Greg, and he was the coolest guy ever. Like, if you ever get the chance to talk to homeless people about their stories, like, they're so interesting, and they're like the coolest people. And so we saw Greg like once a week, maybe. We knew where he was all the time. He just stayed in front of this Catholic school because that was like the only place that he wouldn't get arrested for sleeping there, because it was in front of a Catholic school and it was their property. So anyway, one day, we were just like talking to him, and he just asked if we could pray with him, and we were like, oh, sure. And he started crying, and we were like, oh. And he's just like the nicest guy, and I feel like I'm never gonna see him again probably, but I don't know, he's just so cool. He just such a nice person. I think like the best part about serving a mission is like just meeting the people that you meet, and like really understanding what real Christ-like love is for these people. Like, not knowing anything about these people, but just wanting what's best for them, and knowing that you have what is best for them. And even though I didn't have any baptisms on my mission, I know that I helped people draw closer to Christ. And really, I mean, your purpose as a missionary is help others come unto Christ. That's like the very first thing in Preach My Gospel. And as long as you're doing that, you're a successful missionary. Because I think a lot of times you'll get discouraged thinking, oh, I'm not successful because I don't have progressing investigators, or I didn't have enough lessons this week, or blah, 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 blah. But really, if you're talking to these people and you're doing your best to help them draw closer to Christ, then you're doing your job. And that's really all that it's all about. I love everyone I met on my mission, even the mean people. I love them because I learned from them. Even if I learned how not to act, I learned from them. And I just love people. Anyway, there was this one time, I mean, it didn't really have to do with the mission, but I'll tell it anyway. So over the course of like 3 weeks, I got Dear Jane by the guy that I was going to, like, seriously planning on marrying. And my grandparents died in a car accident, and my mom was diagnosed with cancer, all within like 2 weeks. So I had to go home and help my family with all of that crazy stuff that was happening. So then I came home to California after a week, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna work really hard, and everything will be perfectly fine, because that's kind of what you're told. And so I was just like praying, because it was P-Day, and I got an email from my mom like, I don't even know if I want to live anymore. I'm like, oh, dang it. So, and I was working so hard. Like, I worked so hard, I ended up in the hospital on IV fluids because I like was so sick because I was working so hard. And in turn, my mission president came and was like, stop working so hard. You'll never hear your mission president say that. But anyway, so I was praying and was like, I am done. I don't know what more I could do. I'm working so hard. There's nothing, like, I cannot work harder or I will physically die. Like, I just can't do it. And I heard, and I literally heard, and I've never heard a voice. In fact, God is normally super sassy with me. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, that's how God talks to me. And it was the first time God had ever went, it's okay. I was like, huh. And he actually said, because I was praying about my mom, I wasn't praying about me. I was like, help my mom. And because it was my mom's parents and my mom's cancer. And he said, it's your mom, but it's my daughter. And I'm like, whoa. So that was like the coolest thing that has ever happened, like, in my entire life, personally. And I just thought it was cool. There's so many spiritual experiences to share, like, especially from the MTC. I don't know why the MTC is just like a giant ball of spirituality, but it's a cool place. If you make it a cool place, it'll blow your mind how much you feel the spirit in the MTC. It's so cool. I just really liked we had Area 70s come. Oh, should I talk about that? Elder Ballard came, And he pretty much like gave this lesson where he said like every day you need to like walk in Gethsemane yourself so you can understand what Christ went through, so you can apply that to your life, so you can apply it to other people's lives. And it was so cool. Like just the thought of walking in Gethsemane every day. Like that is so cool. And that's like the mission is really hard. Like really, really hard. And so you really are experiencing Gethsemane every day. So especially as a missionary, that should apply to your life. But then I really thought about that, and that was like, whoa. And one more thing. Every week with an investigator, we went to the addiction recovery program. And that was the coolest, like the most spiritual time of the week, even though it wasn't missionary related. I mean, we went with an investigator, but hearing people who are overcoming addiction and their stories and their thoughts and their feelings, like it is amazing. Amazing. And there was this one time that this guy blew my mind hardcore. And I still talk like I'm from California, sorry. But he blew my mind because he said, yeah, a couple of days ago, I was like thinking, and God told me, I love you, so why don't you love you? And I was like, whoa. Because like I have pretty high self-confidence, but my companion didn't. And I was like, I hope she takes this in because she was such a great person. And it's just like directly for her. So many things directly for you. Anyway, continuing on with the survey. There's so many experiences. I can't choose 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.